Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna do the IM608 top 10 questions of the week. So this is just a compilation of questions that I received from my clientele, and I want to share with you this information to help you on your IM608 journey. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Curtis Harden. I'm an independent auto diagnostic consultant. I align people with the perfect tool strategy and give them the one-on-one results that you see in this presentation. So if you want to get on the right track, head on over to autotech.co.za. Now, question number one. Hey Kurt, I've attached a couple pictures of my IM608. It's working fine, but I'm hesitant to open it for repairs because I'm worried that I won't be able to close it properly. Should I open it myself and fix it, or send it in for a repair? All right, so I have them send me over the pictures. And you can see there's a huge bulge there. Now normally what I would do in the beginning when I started to see this, I would just replace it with the battery. But what I've noticed is sometimes that when it gets that bulge, it actually damages critical components into the tool. So in this case, I'm just gonna have him send it out for repair. In this way, Auto can just make sure that everything is in tip-top shape and you won't have to send it back again, So yeah, send it out for repair. Question number two. What is a hex editor and how can I use it on the IM608? All right. So this is going to get a little technical, but I'll do my best to make it simple. So a hex editor is a computer program that manipulates the fundamental binary data constituting a computer file. And the origin of the name is from hexadecimal, a numerical format for binary data representation. Now the purpose of this is to enable viewing or editing the raw contents of a file as opposed to interpretation by an application software. So to give you an analogy, imagine your vehicle's ECU module is like a big book, a big complicated book. Now, when most people read a book, they understand it through chapters. They understand it through sentences. Now, this is kind of like, using software to understand data. But what if you wanted to look at the tiniest details in that book? All right, the letters, the punctuations, right? That's what a hex editor is like. It's like a huge magnifying glass that lets you edit those individual letters. In our case, the data at the binary level, instead of just reading sentences, the high level information, you can change or fix parts of the book that are normally hidden or locked, making it possible to repair or customize how the book, or in our case, the vehicle would work. Okay, so yeah, it's just a way to get into extreme detail to edit that binary information. Now, what can you actually do with a hex editor? All right, here are some practical things. So a lot of you guys do this already, emo data modification. So a hex editor can be used to access and edit immobilizer data, allowing you to perform renew keys or disable the immobilizer in cases where necessary. Another example would be ECU cloning. So you can read the data from a damaged ECU, transfer it, clone it to a new or used ECU by copying the hex code. Now this ensures that the replacement ECU has the same settings and information as the original one. All right. Next, you can do crash data. Okay. So in an airbag or SRS module, crash data is stored in the EEPROM after an accident. Now using a hex editor, you can manually clear this crash data, essentially resetting the module without needing to replace it. Okay. And then last but not least, you can modify VIN. So with a hex editor, you can manually adjust or rewrite the VIN number stored in the ECU or EEPROM data. And this can essentially be, when cloning ECUs, versionizing modules, or correct mismatched VIN data to ensure compatibility when transferring those modules between vehicles. Now, proper VIN writing helps you avoid immobilizer or mismatch issues between modules. Okay, so those are just some ideas that you can do with that. All right. Question number 4. I see the set menu on the IM608 and lets me turn on verify for different things like reading, writing, and erasing. can you explain this to me in detail? All right, so when using the 608, the set menu allows you to turn on or turn off certain checks during the reading, writing, and erasing data from the ECU module. All right, so here's a breakdown. When you are verifying reading, okay, this option makes sure the data you're reading from the ECU module is correct. Okay, it does a check after reading the data to confirm nothing was missed or corrupted. So it's always a good idea to keep this on, especially if you're working on critical data. Next, similar to verify reading, this is verify writing. So this option ensures that the data you've written to the ECU was saved correctly. All right, the system compares the original file to what's been written to make sure no errors occurred during the writing process. All right, so this is also very important to avoid faulty data being written. Lastly, there's the verifying erase. So this option checks if the data was successfully erased from the module, and if you're erasing an ECU before reprogramming it, verifying that it's completely clear can help prevent issues when you upload new data. All right, so I hope that's a good explanation of that. All right, next question. Kurt, I've been hearing some concerns from other locksmiths about using the 608 for all keys lost on Porsches, especially when trying to read the MCU. Can you elaborate on the challenges regarding this? All right, so the first challenge you're going to have is the microcontroller sensitivity. All right, so these MCUs in these BCMs are extremely sensitive. All right, the Motorola MC9S2, a lot of programmers, when trying to read, ID, unlock, or write these MCUs, they'll either end up being corrupted or they'll erase memories in the MCU. All right. Another issue is EEPROM reading issues. So there's been a lot of cases where the EEPROM is accessed to perform key programming. Now, users reported issues with the data being properly read. All right, it's been noted that the tool may not always connect properly or provide a clear readout, which increases the risk of damaging the BCM. And lastly, incompatibility or in software issues. So there are instances where the 608 failed to read or write data correctly, which can lead to loss of configuration data in the D flash or P flash memory. And as a result, this can complicate the process of reprogramming the vehicle after an all keys lost situation. So these are the risks. There's a lot of people having success with them, but this does pop up. Just know that you're dealing with a very sensitive MCU. Okay. Next question. Understanding the methods for EEPROM reading, when to use each approach. Okay, so when reading an EEPROM, there's several methods. One is the EEPROM clamp method. All right, the simplest for reading data without removing the chip. The clamp can be applied directly on the EEPROM on the board, enabling easy reading without desoldering. And this is ideal when you're sure that the chip is functioning properly and doesn't need to be removed for deeper inspection. And especially if you're don't want to desolder anything. What I can tell you, this method, although it's easy, it's not the most reliable. It's hard to get good reads on this sometimes. Okay. The next method is the EEPROM socket. So this socket's used when you need to perform a non-invasive reading or writing on an EEPROM chip that has already been removed from its circuit board. Okay, this method is ideal for technicians who prefer to avoid soldering and want a secure, reliable connection to the EEPROM chip during data extraction or programming. Now, you would typically use this method when the EEPROM chip can be easily placed in the socket, allowing for more stable data communication. And the APA002 socket ensures that no loose connections occur, reducing chances of data corruption, especially when dealing with delicate critical data like immobilizer information, mileage correction, or module cloning. Okay, and that's that one. The next one is what I call the adapter shell. Okay, and when you're using or when you're working with like a 6-pin or 8-pin EEPROM chip that needs to be securely mounted for reading or writing data. Okay, this method is useful when dealing with chips that require more stability during the operation, such as advanced EEPROM repairs, or when the chips are not easily accessible using other clamps or sockets. Additionally, this method is ideal for scenarios where precise alignment and more secure connections are necessary, which helps prevent data corruption, read and writing errors during the EEPROM programming process. Okay, so yeah, those are the 3 different approaches on reading an EEPROM and when you can use them. Okay, question number 7. Hey Kurt, I'm trying to reset the maintenance service on a 2023 Volkswagen, and I don't know where to get the SFD token. Can you guide me through this process? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, when you work on these newer Volkswagen and Audis, just to do simple maintenance service stuff, they want you to obtain this SF unlock code. Okay, so what you're gonna do is if you go to this website, vaglogins.com, you can make an account, and they have a token based system, and once you acquire how many tokens you need for the procedure, you're going to click this icon called SFD generator, and when you have that generated, you can just put input token, and then you're pretty much good to go. All right, you have to copy this data, put it into their system, it'll generate it, and you put input token, and then you're good. Okay, you'll be able to bypass it. All right. Question number 8. What are hex values and how do they relate to VIN writing on the XP400 Pro software? All right, so these right here are the hexadecimal values on the XP400. Okay, now on the other side here are the ASCII, and this stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. All right, now the way it works is like, if I can give you an analogy, imagine your phone's keypad where each number is associated with a certain letter, or certain letters. So for example, if you press 2, right, it gives you A, B, or C. Now in a similar way, each letter or number in a VIN can be translated into a hex value, which is kind of like the phone's code for that specific letter or number. All right, so let's just do a VIN to hex conversion so you'll see. All right, so this is just 1 digit of the VIN number. In hex value, all right, this is 35. Okay, and then when you roll out the whole VIN number, you can see each number has its own hex value. Okay, just like the keypad. All right, so hope that gives you a little bit more clarity on how that works with the XP400 software. Okay, question number 9. All keys lost on a 2005 Volkswagen Touareg. What steps should I follow if doing all keys lost for this Touareg? Are there any limitations or concerns that I need to know? All right, so if you look at the vehicle coverage database, it gives you an option to do the all keys lost via OBD. Now, what I will tell you, anytime you do all keys lost via OBD, right, that you see here, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I mean, only if you have to, due to the fact that you're going to get this prompt here, and it's going to warn you that it's going to do some modifications to the vehicle, like the engine control unit and stuff. So when that happens, when you're always doing those type of modifications, you really risk damaging critical components. All right, so what I would do in this case, I would just use the Otis software, because you can't, for this particular vehicle, you can't do it on the bench. All right, it's not covered on our tool. And then yeah, use the Otis software, have one original key at least, and you know, from the dealer, and then you'll be able to register it safely that way. All right, it's not worth it. All right, so remember that when you are, every time you work on these Volkswagen and Audis and they have that option to do it through OBD, it's always safer to do it on the bench if you can. Okay, now this is probably the question that all you guys been waiting for. So to give you context, I got a call from one of my clients, and I did a data lodging, and this is what I wrote to my engineer. I said, my client just updated his tool, and he said some of the options on his Toyota's screen are gone. Can you send him a beta update that would bring back those previous versions? So I wanted him to, I used to do this all the time, but they wouldn't let me do it this time. I used to, if somebody would download a version, it wasn't that good, we can get back the older version. And yeah, let me just explain what happened. So all over the internet, people are pissed off about this. You can see here, this guy in this forum was saying that, you know, he was wondering if this thing really happened. He couldn't find any updates. There's another gentleman was livid. He wanted to do a all keys lost on a 2015 Camry, and he used all these tools. He said there was one more option on the scanner showing an 8A cable, and he said he had this cable before, but he returned it because some idiot told me I don't need it in the USA. And you know what? I think he got that from one of the Autel spokesmen. Okay, and yeah, he's blaming the guy. And look, not to go on off the topic, that's why I don't like giving out information. Like if someone asks for like, hey Kurt, can this do this, should I get this, I don't like doing that because I don't want to be the one to blame when something goes wrong. Okay, but it's a problem. All right, and this is the screen of my client. All right, you can see that the reset smart box option is not there anymore. All right, and there's that all keys lost using the 8A all keys lost cable. And yeah, I wasn't able to get the software back. My engineer gave me this statement. So it says, dear value partner, recently Toyota Motor North America requested that Auto remove all keys lost security capabilities for Toyota vehicles sold in their country, asserting that such functionality goes beyond what is permitted in the license agreement for the software we purchase. We believe and have responded that the security function still falls under the terms performing diagnosis, analysis, tests, and repair of the vehicle in the license, and therefore it should be allowed. We believe we are operating within the confines of our Right to Repair Act, which was originally highlighted strongly by automakers' independent repair industry in 2014, stating that the information related to diagnostics, repair, and services are both obtainable through secure data releases. We've removed the software functions requested by Toyota from our tools as a gesture of good faith as we continue to negotiate with Toyota to allow our locksmith and vehicle technicians to finish servicing Toyota security systems. We hope this gesture illustrates our desire for both parties to seek a timely and amicable resolution. All right, so this is what I'm going to tell you guys. All right, and I've seen this before I got into key coding. This is a war. It's an ongoing war where the manufacturers are always trying to up the ante on their security systems. And in my opinion, this might have to do with, maybe Autel not wanting to do the, that whole NASDAQ thing. Maybe NASAF is probably like, they have a little bit more leeway with these manufacturers, and this is probably one way that they're forcing Autel to do it. Who knows? But yeah, Autel, they had to take this off. What I can tell you is there is a possible way to get the software back, but you need, I hate to say this, you need a new tool. You need a new tool to do it, and a different strategy. So I can't tell you it here, you guys, otherwise I'm gonna just blow it. But there is a solution. All right, so yeah, look, I know you're pissed off, but you guys just have to adjust. It's not going to do any use to complain. I'm in the same boat as you guys, and there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. We just have to, I always tell people, problems happen, but it's how you react to them. All right, so you guys know it, and let's see how we can work together to come with a solution. Okay, so with that, you guys, I hope you enjoyed. A lot of information, and as I said, if you want to get your tool, head on over to auteltech.co.za, and with that, enjoy your day. Take care.